I think what makes me good at what I do, or why people will say, yo, your work looks really good, it's because I invest in the best people. I always surround myself with people that love what they do.
The following podcast is an American Influencer Council production.
Welcome to Creators with Influence, a podcast on the intersection between the creator economy and digital culture, where entrepreneurs come to share empowered stories.
Kiana Smith-Bruneteau is a creator advocate, champion of lifelong learning, and movement maker.
Karsten Tanis, known as Skinny Was Here, is a solopreneur, internationally recognized multimedia creator, and a promoter of creative inclusivity.
Together, they are your hosts.
What's going on, Kiana? Welcome back to another episode of Creators with Influence. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Carson. It's nice to see you.
It is so good to see you as well. And this time we are on episode number 6, and we are recording remotely this time.
Yeah, we have our AKG Lyra Mics, and they have been incredible partners of ours as first-time vodcasters.
I definitely agree. The learning curve for podcasting has not been easy, but AKG has helped us to flatten that curve a little bit. So we have another amazing guest for episode number 6 that is going to be sharing their journey through this creative space. Can you tell us a little bit more about who we have today?
We have Wesley Wuz Good Armstrong, who's really a veteran of the career creator space. He's been trailblazing since the days of Vine. He has amassed a community of over 3 million followers, and he's definitely someone I would call a future thinker. He realized early on that video would be a format, an in-demand format, and he has taken on the role of director. He has graduated from the Sony TV's Diverse Directors Program, and he was named a game-changing influencer by Bloomberg. So what he's known for, which I love, is his anime graphics, his comedy genres, and, you can find some of his great videos across TikTok. He was an early adapter when it was called Musical.ly, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. He's everywhere. And he's going to talk about, where he sees himself in the creator economy and the evolution of influencing, because as we know, some of the early Viners are still, the mega influencers of today and have a lot of authority in our space.
No, I absolutely love that. And I'm excited to hear Wesley's story. I love creators that have a diverse background, a very unique trajectory in this space, and they have tons of knowledge to share. So without further ado, let's get Wesley in here.
Whoa, we got a puppy.
You turned into David Blaine real quick.
We've got 2 guests on this episode, a first for Creators with Influence. You've got some competition there on the Q Factor.
I know, man. This is Marley, man. This is Marley, young Marley. He's been with me he's turning 8 this year.
Oh, wow.
He's an actor as well.
Oh, I love it. A great sidekick.
Yep. Put it down. Thank you so much for having me.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah.
How is the weather in California?
It's getting cold. So that means I've got to go someplace warm.
Where do people in California escape to when it gets cold, though?
Usually I escape to my house and I turn the heat up to 90. That's about it. Someplace else to go. Every place else is way colder.
That's the one thing we do have in common. I'm originally from Cali too.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm not even originally from Cali.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
You probably won't believe me when I say it, but I'm from Okinawa, Japan. I grew up there.
Oh my gosh, that's right, because your mom's in the Marines.
Yep, my mom was a Marine. Yes, she was. She's retired now, but yeah, I moved there in 3rd grade and left my senior year of high school.
so cool.
That's
That's
dope.
where the anime inspiration comes from.
Exactly. I couldn't let it go.
I love
Yeah.
it. So awesome too. I'm so jelly. Japan's one of my favorite countries.
Oh yeah, it's so dope over there. So dope. It inspires a lot of the work I do today for sure.
Tell us what attracted you to film and video.
What attracted me to film and video? Um I think every kid is attracted to what they're watching on television, and the biggest thing was, how do I become part of it? How do I become the person inside of the TV? What's on the side of the screen? Who else is back there? Where are they going? And I've always just been fascinated by it. So one of my main things was like, I need to figure out how to do this and create stuff like this. So I was very intense with toys, creating all kinds of scenarios. And I remember I made my first video for like YouTube, and it kind of went, it went viral, it did 100,000 views. And I was like, I got to do this again and try to figure out how to do this more. And that was way back in like 2005, 2004, something like that. And one of my instructors was like, yo, you should check out the school called Full Sail. And so it's a school in Florida that pretty much mirrors the entertainment industry. So I went out there and I thought I was going to become an editor, and I ended up becoming a director. And I said, you know what, I'm going to get really good behind the camera so I could be in front of the camera. And fast forward a number of years later, I met all my friends that were doing stuff on the internet, and they were doing this thing called Vine. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'll film your guys' stuff because I got really good behind the camera. And one of them started getting millions of followers within months. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to start doing this as well. So that's how that kind of kicked off for me.
Awesome. I mean, Vine is one of those trailblazing platforms because a lot of the first Viners are really still, the trailblazers of our space today, and the mega influencers right now, and some of the top paying creators. And so it's interesting to see that group has still so much authority. And I sort of love the story of like the Vine, going to Twitter and demanding, to be compensated fairly. And Twitter executives not seeing the future of the creator economy, and not understanding creative labor, and then all of those creators abandoning ship and going to Instagram, not having the foresight for that. I don't know if you remember a lot.
I remember it very clearly. I was definitely, with the wave of my friends, just like we recognized, like this app wasn't showing us love, and they weren't featuring, good content anymore. And I remember myself and my friend Tonio, we were like, you know what, like Vine isn't really like, it's not the place to be. Let's go ahead and move over to Facebook. So we started creating content on Facebook, and we grew really fast on Facebook. I think I gained 1 million followers in like 4 months on Facebook, just cranking out content constantly. And that's where we moved to. And then we also, Instagram, they came out with 15-second video. We're like, oh, we got more time. Then they came out with million videos. We got even more time. So just really figuring out the format over there. And even at the time, we were simultaneously doing, it's now called TikTok, but it was called Musically back in the day. So like everything was going up super fast. So I gained 500,000 followers so quick creating content on Musically, and they kind of did the same thing as Vine. So I kind of pulled back from that, stuck with Facebook and Instagram, ended up becoming having one of the biggest shows on Facebook Watch when Facebook Watch first dropped. nominated for streaming because of that. So like, these other platforms really started showing creators love and support. Now, TikTok's on that same wave, but Facebook and Instagram, they really, got behind the creators and helped us out.
So what I love is, you just talk about the importance of diversifying the platforms that you're using, and
Oh
this is
yeah.
something that like Kiana always gets at me about because I'm always like, well, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. But can you tell us about like the strength in doing that and the strategy that you applied to it?
Yeah, it's super important to kind of put your content every place. They always say, that term, don't put your eggs in one basket, couldn't be more true, because I've watched creators on Vine have 13 million followers and then nothing. Absolutely nothing when the app shuts down. And it's like their content's not anyplace else. Nobody can find them. And then, they're stuck starting from scratch. And I've seen creators, get their pages deleted or lost, start from scratch and gain right back to a million followers. And that's not easy. You have to have a certain type of grit within you to like, yo, I'm going hard. I worked hard for this. I need to go ahead and gain it back and reach out to people. So it's so important to put your content every place. And I, I would do that, but I'm kind of locked into certain contracts. So my YouTube page is probably my weakest page out of all my pages. Like when I get into these contracts with Facebook and Instagram, like my content can't go there, so it's just, it has to sit on these two platforms. But it is so true, put your content every place, because people are lazy today. People don't, how many times do you want to click someplace else or click out to someplace else? You want to, get your content where you're getting it. If you go to Walmart, you want to get your stuff inside Walmart. You don't want to have to jump to Costco, to Kroger's, or Piggly Wiggly, or wherever your grocery store is. You want to get your stuff there.
Like with the amount of content that you're cranking out, and even the the frequency that you would do it before, how do you battle like creator burnout, or how do you keep yourself from going over the edge?
Creative burnout is real. And it happens when you're looking at everyone else's stuff. When you're looking at everyone else, oh man, they did this. Oh man, they did this. You have to really put your blinders on and focus on what it is that you like to do. So how I avoid creative burnout today is I come up with a schedule, a schedule to post content, to edit content. And I don't put the pressure on myself to like have content every day. I mean, even though I do have content every day, and I do have this like this this itch I have to scratch, and like I got to get it out. Taking my time, because the internet, it's disposable media. It's hot today, forgotten tomorrow, because someone else is putting stuff out. So pace yourself. Pace yourself and put out what you like, because once you put it out, it's no longer for you, it's for the world.
I really love what you just said about disposable media, because that is such a powerful concept. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. When you come into the creator space, I think you have several different types of mentalities. It's the instant influencer, where I'm going to get paid overnight, or I'm going to put in the work, and that I see, I really believe in what I'm doing. I just want to build a community. I'm passionate about something. I have a story to tell, or I fell into this, and it just kind of happened. And then over time, success, the journey just happens. People see what I'm doing, the growth and development of the content is more elevated, and then the success comes. But it's interesting, like the kind of types of people that fall into it. And people get upset, like, oh, I'm doing all this content, I'm not making money. It just takes a lot of time. And it takes a lot of content, and a lot of dedication. And we try to really educate on that, so that people understand, like, there's a business, there's a lot of people doing it. It's really competitive.
Yeah, big time. Really competitive. That's why you have to run your race. Is so important to run your race, not anybody else's. Do what makes you happy. and be authentic to yourself. And authenticity is the other key thing to this whole thing. Like, don't fake who you are for other people, because people could read right through it. Like me and one of my friends, another creator, last night, we were having a conversation about just simple vlogs and what's up, guys, make sure you smash that like button. Like, that whole gimmick, it's not real. And I was like, why did we do that? And why were we doing that? Because it was the trend. But honestly, like, when you're presenting something, just be yourself. So, like, even when I go into meetings, I don't dress up in the suit and tie. There is a dress to impress, but also there is it's human to human interaction. And at the end of the day, when I'm talking with someone that I'm creating with, no matter what they've done in the past, what their position is in the industry, executive or not, I want to make sure, like, yo, when I was a kid, because we're playing in this world of imagination, would I play with you? That's what I want to know. Like, would I play with you? So I talk to them how I would talk to anybody. Like, yo, I think this is dope because boom, boom, boom. And then we could do this and we do that, like having that type of conversation, and you kind of revert back to that innocent childhood, like, nature where really that's where we were. Because at some point people build this wall up and they're not themselves anymore. They are this, like, we have to do it this way. And I can't connect with that. So I need to know, like, yo, if we was on the playground, will we be kicking it and making something dope?
Castles,
You know what I'm saying?
yes, like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, so
totally. It's
that's
like, would
that's my
Carson
approach.
be on the swing with me? Would you push me? Like,
Yeah.
that's
No,
like,
I love that, honestly, because even for me personally, I resonate with people who are authentically themselves in every
Yeah.
situation. And I think that also is a sense of freedom, right? Like, there's so many people that are caught up in whatever social constructs or what they think people expect from them. But when they show up as themselves and, it's true and authentic to them, it resonates, and it brings life into the room. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Big time. Big
that's
time.
a perfect question. Segue into, with augmented reality and virtual reality. And, by the time this airs, Facebook will have had their connected reality conference, and Mark Zuckerberg will have presented, his vision for the metaverse, which the information just dropped an article today that the projected revenue for the metaverse will be $82 billion.
Wow.
Crazy.
Which is just not
Insane.
insane. It's not insane. I mean, it's like so exciting. Like, I definitely want to be in this land of imagination. That's what it is.
Oh yeah. It's a big land to make believe.
What kind of technology is exciting? I see you in the metaverse. You'll be the first creator in there.
I'm a big fan of the movie Ready Player One by Steven Spielberg. I'm always in the Oasis. I don't know if you guys have played with the Oculus at all. I believe that's partnered with Facebook, and
Yeah.
that is so cool because I'll get online with my friends Cleo Thomas and King Batch and all them, and we can see ourselves. It doesn't exactly look like ourselves, but it's a full body character that can fly around. We're flying around inside here and throwing frisbees together. It's crazy. And having this whole situation on your head, you need a full padded room, because when you're like throwing frisbees, I'm like punching walls. I'm walking into my fridge. I'm like, damn it, I need a padded room to do this in. But it is so insane and it's so surreal. Like, wow, we're really having a conversation inside over the internet where we can see each other and we can move around. I promise you, this is the most insane thing. One of the most insane things I've ever experienced, just using my arms, sitting or standing, flying around, shooting guns, throwing frisbees, and communicating with my friends, like, in an open world. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Now, the only thing about that is you get nauseous within 30 minutes. I get super nauseous, so I haven't been in my Oculus in a hot little minute. So I'm like, okay, I'm sick now. And I love playing video games.
Oculus headset, and
Oh, we gotta get online.
Yeah, we do. Like, I have a concert experience that the first time I did it, I thought like, whoa, I'm definitely at like a house party because
Yeah.
this is no joke. I also have a helicopter experience, and I thought like I really was in a helicopter.
Have you ever
So
skydived?
I have.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was on my bed like, yo, yeah.
I mean, this is going to just change the game. And I think we're all sort of, when you're a creative, you're sort of like, what's next?
Oh, always. You're never satisfied
Always.
as a creator. Never. And I tell that to a lot of creators, like the thing that keeps us going is we're never satisfied. I spoke in my college a few weeks ago and they were asking me, like, I was talking to the students, they're like, yo, Wes, what have you done? And I just kind of talked to them. I was like, yo, I did this and I did this. This was a really cool experience. And the instructor and the host was like, wait. No, you need to really tell these students what you've done in this industry. And I was just like, I mean, I'm not trying to brag, like the stuff that I've done is great and cool. And I got pulled over to the side by my old manager after, and he was like, yo, it was great that they perked up when you actually told them what you did.
And since we're here, can you actually tell us some of those things?
Yeah.
Thank you, Carson.
Okay. Man, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff.
Listen, man, I'm a
podcast.
Yeah, let me tell you, like Kiana told me, man. She said you got to talk your shit, man, because nobody's gonna talk it for you. So
yeah,
tell us,
facts. Okay, so I did B.O.B.'s first album cover. Did 500,000 sales. I think I got a gold plaque. I did Flow Riders album cover. Done music videos for T-Pain. I've done magazine covers for Pitbull. What else have I done? I've was nominated for a streamer for best director for my series on Facebook. I was
game-changing influencer by Bloomberg. Let's not forget that.
Did the Bloomberg thing. I did the Sony Diverse Directors Program. I've done partnerships with like some of the biggest movie production studios in the world. I used to host screenings for Paramount, Universal, Warner Brothers, and they were giving me the opportunity to showcase, well, not only just invite all the top influencers in the world, but also showcase my projects before the movie. So, say it's It Chapter 2 or Bumblebee or Alita, like I'd be introducing the directors of the film, but then also showcasing my project with my friends in it. And I'm a big believer of speaking it into existence and manifesting, and to be able to sit in the back of a theater and watch your work on a big screen in front of these blockbuster films was just always a surreal experience for me. So these things are all dope and great. And circling back to what I was saying before, my manager was like, we see what you've done and where you're going, and you see an unfinished product. So like you said, you have, like Carson said, you have to be able to talk your shit because nobody else is going to talk it for you. And so, yes, these things are dope, but at the end of the day, I just did a feature, and I just came back from shooting a feature in Chicago and Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and where I was like one of the lead actors in it. And that's just crazy within itself, because the director saw me at a party and was like, yo, I need you in this film. I'm like, wait, what? Nah, I don't believe you. And he was serious, and he hit my manager, and they really pushed it. And next thing I know, I'm in a movie with George Lopez and Terrence J and all these other people, and my friends. So it's crazy. But at the end of the day, I'm still like, what's next? What is next? Because like I said, we're in this age of disposable media, and that's across all platforms, movies, television shows, the internet. It's so many people pumping out content. You're trying to find that thing that's gonna cut through, that's gonna last, and have you building up that kinetic energy and that fan base that's like, yo, like I loved this. You want to create legacy, and while you're trying to create it, you know, you just have to keep shooting stuff out. And let me just keep cranking stuff out, because you don't know what's gonna hit, what's gonna stick, because it's hot today, forgotten tomorrow.
Yeah. So piggybacking off that, because I know like the term disposable media, it sounds like more menacing than it is, but also what I wanted to ask was, how do you now navigate as a creator in terms of like ownership of like your materials, your likeness, and just even leveraging, the partnerships that you've had in the past or your notoriety in order to negotiate some of these terms? Like, what's some advice that you have for, up and coming creatives that are pumping out content?
Surround yourself with people that have your back. I have a super dope manager. I've been with him for the past 5-6 years, and a super dope lawyer. And they have my back. They make sure I'm not being taken advantage of. They make sure the contracts are clean. They really support me, and I don't even have to go into rooms. My manager, he'll go into the room and he will talk for me. He'll spit everything and just be like, yo, like, this is why you need to work with Wes, because at the end of the day, when I work with anybody, I know that either they're working for someone, or they have, it's like, yo, we need something to represent, to bring to someone else. So I have their back. I have their best interest in terms of like giving them the content that they can use to, cross that finish line, do that slam dunk, do a touchdown dance. So that's super important for me to do.
Yeah, the team is everything.
Mhm.
You've got to have people who, have your well-being and want to see you grow, and also will push you as a
Mhm.
professional. That's also super important, so that, we all get into a plateau. I think that everyone has different drivers and motivations, figuring out what wakes you up in the morning, what gets you excited, because creating content is, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's always,
Yeah.
I love like being on set, then it's like, ooh, post.
Yeah. I mean, they say you're going to edit all your projects 3 times: when you write it, when you shoot it, and when you're editing it.
For
You're
sure.
you're constantly editing. I think that's a Marlon Wayne's quote.
Let's talk about some of these nominations, and even more specifically like New Girl. Can you tell us a little bit about how that project came about, and what you look
Oh,
forward to with it?
that's me shadowing as a director. I
Mhm.
shadowed as a director on the show. One of my friends is one of the stars of that show, and he brought me in, introduced me to the Fox executives. And this industry is really about like not what you know, but who you know, and that's a real thing. I wouldn't be in the position to shadow on some of these television shows without people that I know, and my friends. So networking is huge.
Yeah, you have like over 3 million fans on LinkedIn. We just had
What do I?
yeah,
That's
you
news to
do.
me.
I just hit you connect on LinkedIn, and we had Brian Shu, who is LinkedIn senior data scientist, and we were talking about the importance of getting creators on LinkedIn. And then I was like, let me check out Wes. I was like, look, Wes has 3. He's like a super LinkedIn influencer.
No way. Hold up. I
Yes,
have not.
he,
No way.
yes,
What?
you do. I
He's
was
like, that's
like,
another stream he's got to get some money from right there.
I had no idea.
I was
How
like,
do I
wow,
see how many followers I have on LinkedIn?
I was like, oh my gosh, he totally should add that number to his community size, because he's like killing it on
Wait,
LinkedIn.
I'm letting you know right now. I have not logged into my LinkedIn in forever. Where do I see?
Don't own that.
Where? Hey, I'm just saying. Wait, where do I see that at?
Go on your desktop
Uh-huh.
and look at the people who follow you. That's
Follow
how I
me.
saw it.
Wait, where do I didn't even know it had followers.
Yeah,
Wait.
so LinkedIn, you could have connections, and then you can also follow a person. And so you have a ton of followers. I just also followed you. Um,
I don't even know where to find it at. This is news to me. This is wild.
yeah, so you're actually listed in the section of LinkedIn influencers. So I thought
What?
I was like, that's so cool.
That is dope.
Wow.
You don't see it? Are you on
No.
your text? Are you on desktop?
I'm on my desktop.
I
Oh
love
my
that
God,
he's
you're
like
gonna
he's
have to,
genuinely
like,
surprised though, man.
We're
Like
gonna have to like pause the podcast while I pull this up so you can see this.
no,
Yes, please.
keep it rolling, man, because I love the expressions right now. Like you are genuinely surprised by this, and like I'm getting to see this for the first time. So that's dope. I'm living through you right now.
What the?
Actually, that's a great segue into this. Maybe you can answer this while you're looking, but like when you transition from, the entertainment side of it onto the professional side of it, like how do you feel about the responsibility?
Okay, so in terms of transition, like I started in traditional, so before the internet, not before the internet, that's crazy. When I went to film school, I started doing photography. So photography really took off for me. So I was doing all the artists in my school because at Full Sail, they have a degree program for music arts or music. They have a degree program for soundstage production or show production. They have another one for graphic art and design. They have one for filmmaking, and then they have like a business degree. I think there's like 5 different degree programs. It might be more now. And I was told by one of the instructors, like if you want to understand film and film is 24 frames a second, 24 pictures for 1 second of film, you don't understand a single frame. So I was like, all right, well, let me get a camera. My mom brought me a camera and I just took pictures of everything. And as that happened, I started getting the attention of, industry music artists. So I started doing their stuff, and then I'm doing magazine covers and album covers. And while that's happening, I started doing music videos. So next thing I know, I'm traveling across the country directing music videos for all these different artists, and it's going on 106 in Park and over here and over there. So then I started producing for Buna Murray, and Buna Murray, they do like the Kardashians and Real World. That's what that company is known for. But I was in the digital department, so I was producing a show called Breakdown, which is a YouTube show, and I started meeting all the up and coming YouTubers, the big YouTubers, the small YouTubers, and at that same time, YouTube's going up, and then there's this thing called Vine coming out the same way, and so while I'm producing and directing and shooting their stuff, that's when the transition happened, and it's like, yo, I'm about to be a full-time creator, and really just kind of went all in. I didn't know this was gonna really like open up a lot of doors, but my friend Daystorm, he was like, yo, they're gonna start paying us for these. I'm like, no way. And I remember my first brand deal was $75, and I was so excited. I was like, this is crazy. I'm getting money to do stuff I was gonna do for free anyway. And it was, for us back then, it was a follower race, a subscriber race. Who's the funniest race? And my stuff was not the funniest at all for at least a year or two. It was a struggle. It was definitely a struggle. So that grind was really real.
You definitely though have a humor sense to your content. How'd you come into that? Because that's what I love about your videos, whether you're transforming into a superhero or some of your older videos with like the likes on a girl's profile, like one of that's like the old ones. I like love those, or like the diss videos. Like
Here's the thing. I'm thirsty. Like a lot of these things are based off of just kind of like real life, either something I've seen or something I've experienced. I think I get my humor from my mom, but I've always been kind of a class clown. And this has just been an outlet for life, This has been an outlet really for just kind of like how I see life. And, you know, me, I think what makes me unique is I have a different lens on Black culture. You know, um, I grew up in Japan. So I grew up around a melting pot of all these different cultures. So coming to the States was actually a culture shock. It was a huge culture shock. And, you know, finding out how to fit in, I used to be embarrassed to say I was from Japan. I'm like, ah, man, I don't want to say I'm from there. My mom's from New York, so I'm from New York. I was trying to make my own New York accent, and yeah, you call me later. Just this fake ass version of myself, and then finally, it was like, ah, man, I like toys still. Yes, I like anime. I like cartoons, and I'm not from New York. I grew up in Japan. I know this is weird, and people were fascinated by that, and I was actually shocked. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, okay. Well, then I guess it's better to be myself than a fake version of what I thought people wanted to see, trying to fit in and, to like these culture pots. I've lived all over really. North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Texas, New York, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Arizona. Like I've lived in all these different places for certain amounts of time. And it's it when you're from a specific area, there's a certain vernacular, a certain swag, a certain twang that people have in these areas. And I didn't have any of it. I didn't identify with it. And I was trying to like pull from different ones. It's like, all right, look, I didn't grow up any of these places. I grew up over here. And this is how I've always been.
That's dope. Like, I identify with that too because I grew up as a BMXer. So, like, while I was
Nice.
watching like X Games and shit like that, just people in the neighborhood. I'm in New York right now. Like, I'm born and raised
Yeah.
New Yorker. But I think that traveling early on allows us to create a different sense of the world, and our
Mhm.
perspectives are also adapted to that. So,
Yeah.
I think that's an amazing journey, though. It's just always
Absolutely.
being yourself.
Yeah. You're dope. You have a unique thumbprint on the world, and like nobody else can. That's why I don't get scared to tell people about things I'm working on, because I'm like, yo, you're not gonna do it the same way I would do it. You're gonna do your version, and that's cool. But I don't fear you stealing my idea, because you're not gonna do it better than me. You're gonna do it your way.
Mhm.
I agree with that 100%. No one is going to have your same eye or the way
Hmm.
you produce it or the way you're going to edit it or how you're going
Hmm.
to lay music on it
Mhm.
or all of that. And that gives us a great segue into, you've worked with Lyft and
Oh yeah.
T-Mobile and you've directed over $1 million in co-branded content, which is no
Wow.
easy feat. Give us some tips because we're all about helping creators on their path. Share some tips for creators just on how to vet potential brand partners. What do you look for when you're approached for a new deal?
Um, I think I look for, does this fit my brand? That's the number one thing. I've been approached by alcohol brands or brands that just, are not as, PC. Um, and I'll say no. It's like, that doesn't really fit my brand. That's not really what I'm trying to advertise. Um, and then one of the pieces of advice that I got from back in the day was when a brand approaches you to post on your platforms, um, you need to find out what the budget is, what the rate is. So whoever says the number first loses. So say for instance, a brand's like, hey, Wes, we want to work with you and we want, to do a social posting of this movie on this platform, and then 3 stories. Uh, what's your rate? Usually the influencer's first, or anybody's first instincts to do is say, all right, well, I want to charge this for this much. I don't know how much to charge for this. And you stress yourself out so much by doing all of that when they already have a budget. They already have a budget. They're just asking what your rate is. So you run the potential of undercutting yourself big time. So I think the answer to that is, hey, thanks so much for reaching out to me. This sounds awesome. I can't wait to work with you. What are you guys looking to spend? throw it back to them, because whoever says it first loses. So they could say, hey, we have 20K. All right, damn, you know what? That's 20K I wasn't thinking about. Okay. Do I want to push it, or do I want to say, all right, let's do it? All right, we're in a spot to negotiate, because if they have 20, that means they may have 50. Okay, so let me say, hey, for this amount of posts and this right here, I think it's going to be about 35K. You know what? That's a little out our budget range. What if we take this and this off and we could do 30K? Hey, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Like, you have to be able to understand, negotiation, and they have money to spend. But if you would have said, you know what, for this, we could do 10K. Great, let's do it. And you're just out 25K right there. So it's very important, I think, to find out who says the number first. And I would always leave that in the brand's court, because most likely, this is a third party company reaching out to you from another company and saying they have a budget of $3 million and we want to work with 20 influencers. The third party is going to take a chunk for their, finder's fee, and then they're going to disperse the rest amongst other influencers. I've seen these deals come through so many times, to understand like the play.
And you nailed it. Coming from the brand side, I always have a budget and I know exactly how I'm going to deal it out. And creators have to realize that most Fortune 500 companies have a fiscal year budget. And when they're working on campaigns, they absolutely know what they're going to spend. And so you have to be market smart.
Yeah.
So you gave a lot of great wisdom there.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up question to piggyback on that, piggybacking on things. Do you have any advice or any investment advice for creators who have been in the game for a while? Like, what's something that they can take some of that money that they've made and invest in, or
I've been in my investor bag, and I'm not a financial advisor. But I've been in my investor bag a lot lately, and I think there's a few different verticals to invest in. Obviously stocks, cryptocurrency, and this comes with your own type of research right here, real estate, and then one of the number one things is reinvest into yourself, invest in equipment, invest in, what makes me good at what I do, or why people will say, yo, your work looks really good. It's because I invest in the best people. I always surround myself with people that love what they do. So if it's a cinematographer, I make sure he loves what he does. Hey, here you go. I'm going to take this money and put it into you. If it's a sound operator, I'm put that money into you. If it's a colorist, I'm put that money into you. A writer, same thing. I make sure, especially when I do these branded jobs, like, there are some creators that don't pay anybody for the branded jobs, and that's how they operate their business. I don't like that. That's not how I operate. Like, if you were working, you're getting paid, because I've slept on couches. I know what it's like not to get paid for a job and working 8 hours, it's like, dang, man, like, they're making a lot of money and they're not paying anybody. Like, that sucks. And I don't ever want to be in that position or put someone in that position, so I make sure, that money is invested into people that are helping me achieve my dream, because they're able to pay their bills.
And that's the beauty of the creator economy, is that influencers can empower other influencers and hire other creators. And that's so awesome to see when it's done in practice. And I love that you just said that, because, how I was able to elevate my own production was hiring other creators that, we sort of grew up together.
Yep. Yeah. I think Issa Rae said it best: don't network up, network across.
Exactly. And just in closing, one question, as a creator of color, what are your thoughts on inclusive marketing is the future of marketing?
I mean, I think that's the best marketing plan, because we are all people. The only thing that separates us is the color of our skin. And like I said, I grew up in a melting pot, so that's not really a foreign concept to me. It's more like, duh. What?
Last question from me regarding that. Do you think, or what do you think the impact of 2020 was in response to inclusivity and diversity in marketing?
I think it gave everyone a chance to slow down. We're all very ego driven. And now it's awakened our awareness to realize like, yo, I've been blinded by what I see in front of me as opposed to what's right, how I, understanding that we are not our thoughts. We're the awareness of our thoughts. And that is, the biggest lesson it taught me anyway. And, really just kind of breaking down this, this wall, we've built up and, this trauma that's kind of like been passed down generation by generation, our parents before, they had it wrong, and we are able to make it right. We're able to shift, what it is to see past, our own insecurities. It's like we've been granted, I think what 2020 granted us is X-ray vision. We truly have 2020 vision now. And I love it. We're able to see through the matrix and see through the nonsense and see through the, those insecurities that have been built up generation upon generation of just, that's not how you treat people. This is not how I actually feel. So I think it's 2020, although, it was a trash ass year, it was also one of the best years.
Yeah, we are the change. So
Yeah.
that's what's exciting.
We are the world.
I was looking for my lighter. I was like, where my lighter go?
Well, it was such a pleasure, Wes. You're one of my favorite creators. You're always doing some disruption and keeping it real.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Such a great combo, man.
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us, man.
Appreciate it. Good luck with the podcast. Creators of Influence is such a dope name. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys blow up.
And how can our listeners find you on social?
Find me at Wuz Good every place. That's WUZGOOD or wuzgoodonline.com.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate
awesome.
you.
Creators with Influence is produced by the American Influencer Council, the sole 501c6 not-for-profit trade association in the U.S. created by and for career creators.